All right, Monday night, we've got a second straight big division game, a really good one. The Los Angeles Rams head to the Arizona Cardinals. Cardinals are 2.5-point favorites. The Rams are plus 120 to the money line, and the total is at 51.5. We got a good one. These are the two teams that have battled atop the division all year. The Cardinals had a big win in LA earlier this year, 37-20. That kind of flipped the narrative on the division. What do you think? Are the Cardinals going to sweep the division here, or are the Rams going to get the comeback?
This is a really tough game for me because, look, when you look at this number plus 2.5, it says that this is a side where you should be taking the Rams, but I'm not buying it. Like, who has this Rams team beaten all year long? They really haven't beaten anybody. Like, obviously, they beat Indianapolis, they beat Tampa Bay, but for the most part, their wins have come against the bottom feeders: Houston, Detroit, the Giants, a banged up Seattle team. And you look at Matthew Stafford, how can we trust this guy? Like he hasn't really truly been healthy. So for me, I'm not gonna be playing this one, but if I did, I would play the Arizona Cardinals. I think this is a team that's just been rolling all season long. They're top in offense and defense. So I think that's where I'm looking. What's your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, the Rams are on a really bad trajectory. I think your decision on this game has to come down to, am I going to play what I've seen from the whole season, or am I going to play what I've seen from the last 6 weeks? Because it's a very different answer depending on which one of those you pick. The whole season, we've got the Rams 6th in DVOA, Cardinals 5th. So they're basically equal. The Rams are top 5 on offense in DVOA. Cardinals are number 2 on passing offense. Sounds like a great matchup. That's the season numbers. But now zoom in. So the Rams trajectory, you talked about that just now. Rams start out 3-0. They're looking like a juggernaut, just like every September. Every Sean McVay September, it's the Rams. They're going to win the Super Bowl this year. And then what was week 4? That's the Cardinals game, 37-20. I was totally wrong on that. I was all over the Rams in that game. And I did not, it took me like half the year to finally believe in this Cardinals team. I believe now. They keep showing up. They keep coming through. And so the Cardinals win that game 37-20, absolutely dominated them. And yeah, the Rams have done nothing since then. Like you said, the wins are Seattle, Giants, Lions, Texans, and Jaguars. Just nothing there. And the other 3 games you didn't mention, the Titans, the Niners, and the Packers, not even competitive. They got crushed in all 3 of those games. They were not even close to winning any of those 3. So what have we learned about the Rams? Like they're beating all these bad teams. Those 5 we listed is basically the list of the 5 teams eliminated from the playoffs. Like we got like 27 teams still alive in the playoffs, and then 5 teams that the Rams have beaten. Like that's the list. And if they play anyone even kind of good, like the Titans aren't that great. The Niners are barely in the playoff hunt right now still, but they're blowing the Rams out basically. So why are the Rams even favored, like only within a couple of points here? Should the Cardinals be favored by more if it's this big of a difference?
I think when you look at the power ratings, obviously you're gonna look. They're taking full season numbers. I think 2.5 is the right number when I look at my model. Just some models that have Arizona 1st, Rams around 5th. So I mean, they did beat Tampa Bay, so that's going to push their power rating up. But when I look at these 2 teams from a football perspective, the Rams can't run the ball. They can't run the ball. And then they probably lost their second best receiver or one of their one. If I look at Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods as 1A and 1B, you can put them neck and neck. They're both equally as important to the offense. And you replace Robert Woods with the shell of Odell Beckham, and what do you get? And then you have a Matthew Stafford who's been banged up. I just don't see how you could play this team getting plus 2.5. Maybe, like, I think if I'm looking at this game, maybe you play some under. Maybe you'll get a defensive game. As you typically see a lot of these divisional games, they tend to play tougher in the second matchup. You see these teams play, not have the huge offensive output that you saw the first time. So I think if I'm looking at the total, I'm looking at that place, but I'm not playing the Rams in the spot. I'm sorry. I don't care how much sharp money is on the Rams. I'm looking at Arizona.
Yeah, so I mentioned that the big picture versus the recent 6 weeks. So here's the last 6 weeks. The Rams over the past 6 weeks by EPA, expected points added, are only ahead of 4 teams in the entire NFL. Their offense ranks 28th in EPA over the last 6 weeks. And yeah, they lost Robert Woods. They haven't been totally healthy. Guys, it's football. Like, there are injuries. You got to roll with the punches. Guess who else had injuries? The Cardinals. They're missing Kyler Murray for 3 weeks. He was hurt in a fourth one of those. They're missing DeAndre Hopkins for 3 of those. The Cardinals in EPA the last 6 weeks, during all of those injuries I just said, are second in the NFL in EPA. They're number 2 on offense, despite missing Kyler Murray for 3 of those games. And it's a bye week. And it's an ugly rain game in Chicago with Kyler's return. And there's an injury game, Kyler against Green Bay. That's it. That's the whole 6 weeks. And they're still second in EPA on offense, number 1 in passing offense. And the Rams are 28th. So it's a problem. Like, if you look at just the last 6 weeks, this is not a 2.5 point line. This is a really good Super Bowl contending team playing a team that basically grades out like the Jets or the Texans or the Jaguars. Like, that's how bad the numbers are right now. Matt Stafford, we talk about EPA and plus completion over expectation as a good way to kind of rate quarterbacks overall. Out of 33 quarterbacks the last 6 weeks, Matt Stafford ranks 30th. He's ahead of Tyrod Taylor, Trevor Siemian, and Trevor Lawrence. That's it. Matt Stafford has been terrible. We got reports he's not healthy. We know that the Rams aren't healthy. We know they can't run the ball, which would be nice here because the Cardinals' run defense has been very beatable lately. So I really like the Cardinals here. This actually would have been one of my favorite plays of the week, except that there's a lot of trappiness about this. We're seeing all that sharp money come in. There are a lot of trends here. We've seen short road dogs be great this season. McVay is 3-1-1 against the spread against Cliff Kingsbury. So I'm being a little cautious here just because this is such a big moment here for the Rams. But by what I'm seeing from these teams, the Cardinals are just so much better right now.
I totally agree with you. And I think sometimes Joe the public wins too. And I think we saw a lot of that on Sunday. And I think that could possibly continue here. So sometimes you gotta recognize when maybe the sharps are wrong. The sharps are gonna lose 40% of the time or so. So this could be one of those spots. I'm personally not going to play it, but I think if you're going to play the game, then roll with Arizona.
Yeah, I'm gonna play it. I'm betting the Cardinals. I'll take them at 2 or 2.5. If it gets to 3, I think it's maybe a little bit too late. You don't want that key number involved there.